the fact is the sentiment that Rahul mentioned. A lot of budget is about sentiment increasingly. Many of the Modi government in particular, its major legislations are brought outside the budget. That's where it brings in some of its game-changing reforms over the years. Given that there is this sentiment, how do you see it actually translating? The markets, for example, are giving a thumbs down as of now. What explains that? Why is the market sentiment not matching the sense of middle-class sentiment with these tax cuts?
Okay, so I'll give you a simple answer for why the market is not really enthused. And that's because all the measures have been announced for either the villages, the rural areas, MSMEs. There's not much that has been announced for the corporates. And the market...
Nothing wrong in that,
right.
For a change.
So I'm just saying, so the market reacts to where they can make money. The corporates that they invest in, they have not seen a big change.
What would they have liked?
No, but can I just press you to say, Punita, the fact that 1 lakh crore rupees is being set free, the government's releasing that, has a multiplier effect of its own. If people have this extra disposable income, yes, they potentially go out and spend part of it, which creates a virtuous consumption cycle. So there is some logic, yes, to what is being attempted. Now the impact it has and the extent to which that money gets spent is a different matter. But that is at least the big idea that Nirmala Sitharaman and Prime Minister Modi are trying to implement.
Yeah, you're right. So there will be some consumption benefit. The demand will increase for companies on the those that are consumption-led. But will it really give them huge growth or boost in earnings, maybe 1%, 0.5% or whatever? So I don't know how much it will really change the earnings profile of the companies.
What did they want? What did the markets want? What did they want that was not delivered?
My reading is slightly different. I would say this has got to do with probably a higher expectation of capital expenditure. And as Shankar had pointed out, some of the earlier budget itself on capex has not been fully utilized. So which is why the government has probably kept it where it was, roughly. The expectation was of higher capital expenditure.
We'll have to see the details of what is the capex, because she didn't mention whether it's 11 lakh crores again or 12 lakh crores.
10.8, I think.
So that's one story. And the other, I think there is some fine print in this. The stock market is full of chartered accountants who must have now figured out something. And one of my CA friends has written saying that there is a special rate for certain kinds of incomes, which has not been sort of clarified.
No, you're saying there's a TNC. You're saying there are terms and conditions attached.
I mean, conditions apply. So she's saying that there is a special rate income. So basically, this 12 lakh exemption is not without conditions. So,
okay. So let's try and get Divya Baveja. She's a partner at Deloitte, an expert on taxation. So Divya, try and explain to our viewers as simply as you can on the implications that this rationalization and direct tax structure has on the lives of those who are watching across the income pyramid.
So, thanks, Rahul. So if I look at, say, take the example of 12 lakhs, which the finance minister mentioned. So if I were to see the current slabs under the new regime, and if I look at the proposed slabs under the new regime, there will be saving of 80,000 rupees for such individuals if I were to compare the taxes under the slab which was in the new regime currently in place and under the new regime which is being proposed as per the new slabs. So I'm just going with the example of 12 lakhs because that is where the finance minister mentioned that there will be nil tax up to 12 lakh rupees. And for a salaried individual, it will become 12 lakh 75,000 because 75,000 is the standard deduction. So if I take 12 lakh 75,000 rupees, 75,000
so that I've understood.
Deduction.
She's also said that cesses and surcharges will be reduced to just one. There will be just one. She didn't explain that much further, but what did you understand of that? Which are the cesses, surcharges that are likely to go?
See, cesses and surcharge, if I recall, she talked more in the custom tariff concept. I don't think she talked in the context of income tax, but we'll have to see the finance bill and see the fine print to see whether it applies in income tax also or not. Well, that was more in the context of, if I recall correctly, was in the context of the tariff, customs tariff.
Shankar Iyer has a question. Shankar.
So she mentioned twice something about capital gains being not not being part of this 12 lakh exemption.
Yes,
Did I hear her
and
right or did I hear her wrong?
that is so the reason why she said because capital gains is taxed separate. It's under special tax regime because the rates are different. If I were to look at any capital gain, say if I were to look at long-term capital gain, the rates are different. So she said that will be kept out of that. So that is what she had mentioned because here we are looking at the regular rates. Yeah.
And she's also introducing an income tax bill, she says, a week from now.
Yes. Yes.
What
That
does
was
that
what.
hold out for you? Does that give you optimism that while you've touched tax slabs in the budget, you're actually going to give much more in terms of making it easier in terms of compliance and other issues in that bill?
Yes, it does, because if you recall last year when the budget was announced in July, she did talk about the new income tax bill. And what she mentioned in today's speech also, that the new income tax bill is supposed to make the provisions clearer, simpler, reduce litigation, and also streamline the processes, including the number of provisions that have been reduced. So I'm sure this is going to make it simpler and clearer. That's the intention. So rest
So
we'll have to
adding to
see
what has
when the.
happened today, if a week from now we have that income tax bill in place, would you say that's the most significant takeaway for you and will encourage both consumers today and business hopefully in a week from now?
Yes, I'm sure it should. Yes. See, because let's look at one thing. What do people want when they look at any of the tax laws? They want simplicity, clarity, reduce litigation, and make the processes simple. So I think that is the direction in which the new income tax bill should be looking. We should be looking at, which is what even the finance minister mentioned in her speech.
Any other queries?
No, so we'll come back, Divya, in just a moment.